everyone, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm doing my video today on homeschooling my first grader. I have a first grader, a third grader, a fifth grader, and a 2-year-old. Well, she just turned 3, a 3-year-old. So I'll do a video for each grade. Right now I'm just going to start with first grade, and this is just our basic core curriculum that we use. I do supplement a lot and try not to make it so boring doing the same thing every day, but this is just the basics that we stick to before our supplementing. So to start, every morning we start with Bible. My kids each have a notebook that they use. So in the morning I'll have a whiteboard with a Bible verse, and they will do their Bible verse writing. This includes my first grader. She actually does a great job at this. So they'll just write the Bible verse. My fifth grader will do cursive, and then we'll talk about what it means and try to see if we can memorize some verses. And that will be the very first thing. Every morning we try to start with just prayer and Bible time. And then along with that, they'll eat their breakfast and I will read Bible stories. This is not my book. This is a library book. I had a different one before that we were using, but I had to return it. And then I found this one. So we just kind of picked up where we left off. And we just go, maybe we'll do a couple stories a morning. Depends on how long it is or how much we have to get done. And then we'll just talk about what's going on. So right now we're talking about Moses. We kind of started this not that long ago. We used to just do Bible verse and prayer, but we decided that we should be learning now about the stories of the Bible, and then we can start with the children's version, and as they get older, we'll use the adult version and just read through the Bible. So this is just our morning basic thing that we do. I also have another Bible book that talks about different Bible characters, and sometimes we'll switch and do that. Like say I read a story about Moses and we want to know more about Moses, I could grab the Bible character book. People of the Bible, sorry, not characters. It sounds fictional if I say that, but people of the Bible. Then we'll look up Moses or Joseph or whoever it is and read about them and get a little more into it. So this is our basic morning Bible time. There's also on the app I use for the Bible, the YouVersion app has a children's app activity that we'll sometimes watch the video to as well. And then we'll talk about that. So this is the basics, but sometimes we will add to that. And then usually after Bible, we'll go right to math. For all my kids, I use Matthew C. This is not the first lesson plan. This is, I think, the second one. There's a earlier basic math. I think it's called primer, but that's very simple math. I would probably use that for kindergarten, even though kindergarten I didn't use the curriculum yet, but you can always start lower is basically what I'm saying here. So we started her at alpha because that's just what level she was ready for, and it's just very basic math, addition, and then here is where you can build the numbers to do the equations. So Matthew C comes with this huge box of math manipulatives that the kids can use in their homework, in their assignments, or they can even just use this to practice different word problems or whatever they're using. It's very helpful. These are just number blocks. There's like a 10 block, a 4 block, a 5 block. These are the 100 blocks. And then for her to get kind of used to building numbers and place value, it'll have you build it first and then write the answer. This is just super helpful, this curriculum for me, because it's very repetitive, which some people don't like, but I like that because that way before you move on, they know exactly what they learned. They're not going to forget it. Like here, it'll show you count and write the number and then say it. So she could do this just by looking at the picture, or she could come into here and make it easier and build it at the same time, so you can just have a better visual of it. Some kids are more visual learners. Some kids don't need that. But my kids seem to just work a lot better when they have some visual. They can touch it, they can see it, they can count it. So we love Matthew C. And then it just kind of gets a little harder as you go, but it doesn't go far beyond the basics. And then once it gets past that, you'll go on to a new level. This is pretty much what they use for first grade. I think that's what the basic first grade math. But just to really, for homeschooling, you start your kid at wherever they're ready to be started at. It doesn't matter what grade the level the curriculum says it's for. I go off of what my kids are ready for. So if this was like way too easy for her, I would happily start harder, and if it was way too hard for her, I would just go back one. Because see, as you go, then you start trying to solve for x, which can get a little confusing in first grade. So I like how it takes it slow, and then you go over the same thing plenty of times. It teaches patterns, it touches on some shapes and geometry, just basic stuff. As you can see, I don't know if you guys are interested, but for me, when I was picking curriculum, I really wanted to see like what it looked like inside. So if you guys have more questions, or if you want to see a little bit more, I'd be happy to just be more detailed in this. This also comes with a DVD that you can use, and the guy does a lesson, and then you do the worksheet with it. And it also comes with a test booklet where once you finish a chapter, then you're supposed to do the test. We don't follow it exactly because it just works the way we do it. So for me, like, this is how you're supposed to do it. So 16A, so say this week, this is what we're on. One day you would do this page, 16A is front and back, and then the next day you do 16B front and back, 16C front and back, 16D front and back, and then it goes all the way from E, F, G, and then it'll usually, I think it's G, is where it's, application and enrichment. It'll kind of go over everything that was in chapter 16. So you can do it like that, and you can watch the video, do the worksheet, do the test, or if you feel comfortable just skipping ahead and doing what you see that your child needs, that's how we do it. So as you can see, there was a bunch of blank pages, and then she had some stuff filled in here. I skip over. Like, there's really no point in going over the same thing if she already got it down. Like, plus zeros was very repetitive in the beginning, 4 plus 0, 5 plus 0, and that was just super easy for her. I didn't feel the need to go over it many more times, so we just skip forward. And then, like, say she gets down these word problems and, the patterns and the shapes, then we'll skip ahead again. But just make sure that I like to make sure that she really knows what's going on. And then if I feel like it's just too repetitive, then you can skip ahead. And that's kind of one of the benefits of homeschooling. You don't have to continue on one thing because there's other students that need help. You can go with however your child is ready for. So this is just basically what the book looks like. Once you get towards the end, let's see, it just starts more subtraction. It was more addition in the beginning. And then it gets a little harder. I'm trying to see how hard it gets. Maybe I could show you guys. See, it's not, it's really not too difficult. I mean, it gets a little bit bigger with the problems. But, so this is the alpha. This is what I started with for first grade. And this is the manipulatives that it comes with. A lot of times, this is a pretty expensive set. We get it for free with our charter school. I used my funds on it. But you can find a lot of these used online for very cheap that I noticed. And they even have some at Dollar Tree where you can get like 1 blocks or 5 blocks, or offer up or whatever. If you're interested in this, I guarantee you can find it for much cheaper. So after math, we usually start writing. I do a lot of different things for writing, but our basic writing book is, we use Essentials in Writing curriculum. I start at level 1 for first grade, and it's just very basic stuff. It teaches a lot of grammar and just how to capitalize at the beginning of a sentence, how to make sentences, nouns and verbs and stuff like that. And see here, it teaches you, like, for the younger kids, where to put your spaces. Sometimes they do put some funny stuff in here you might see, which I'm okay with as long as they're getting their work done and they're happy doing it. So, just filling in the blanks, and then it eventually gets a little tougher than that. But this is just our basic curriculum writing book. The thing about this for me is it doesn't do a lot of just free write practice. So some days we will skip this and I'll just have them do a free write in their notebook. I find like the best times to do that is like after a field trip. Say we went somewhere really cool like the zoo, I'll just have them write a paragraph about what they learned or what they did, what they enjoyed, and it's real simple, and then they can just practice free writing. And then other days I'll have them type it instead of write it so they can just get more comfortable on the computer. So this is for first grade. It's Essentials in Writing. I've loved it. I used it for my 3rd and 5th grader as well for their levels, and it definitely gets a lot harder. It starts to teach you how to write essays and stuff like that, which is really good. but I still supplement with that also. So sometimes even things like just writing a grocery list is writing practice. I'll just ask my daughter, hey, do you think you can write my grocery list for me? And it'll be like a spelling test because she's learning to write like tomatoes and celery, broccoli, and she doesn't even realize that she's doing homework, but at the same time I know what I'm doing asking her to do it. So it can be enjoyable. It doesn't always have to look like a workbook. This is definitely helpful to have, especially when you want something just set and ready to go in the morning. But there's so many things you can supplement with. You can even say, hey, do you want to write, your friend a birthday card? And that's writing for first grade also. Sometimes we'll do like we'll play like restaurant, and I'll say, hey, do you want to make a menu for your restaurant? You could put like the name of your restaurant, the title, and then the different plates that you want to make. And that teaches her, where the title goes, how to capitalize, how to list things, and how to spell things. So you don't have to just stick to one thing, but if you are interested in a writing book, I definitely recommend Essentials in Writing. And then from there, another thing that we started doing back when she was in like preschool, kindergarten age was these Ivy kits. This is something you can order a subscription through online, and it's really cool. It says it's aimed more at preschool, kindergarten age, but we have absolutely loved it, so we continued getting it even into first grade. And kids love doing hands-on stuff and crafts and all that kind of thing. So for me, this is definitely goes beyond preschool, and I just like to supplement with it. So each box comes with all these cool activities. It comes with a book, and then it'll have like different things like for math. Like this one's shapes and geometry. This one's a lot of like shapes. But it'll also have like something on science. It'll have something for writing. It's just a really cute little box. So this box that we got here came with this book. So we will sometimes use this instead when she's like totally sick of workbooks. But other days I just add it in with her work. So like we'll finish writing and then we'll go over here and this will be our book for the week or for the day. And she'll read it to me or I'll read it to her. And then the box will come with like, here's some questions just to do like some, just understanding what she's reading, making sure she understands what's going on, who a narrator is, what a setting is, who the characters are, and stuff like that. So I'll just sit there and you can ask her these questions, and then I'll let her usually pick an activity to do. So we did this one last week where she can make different shapes on this geo board, and then we also have a chalkboard, and it came with these cool cookie cutters where she could trace different shapes. She didn't use the cookie cutters yet because we didn't have a lot of time, but she started drawing them out. So that's really fun for her. Sometimes there's also science sheets that she could do. I should have brought it, but the last box, it was all about this book, Not Norman, a goldfish story, and it had some worksheets where it labeled each parts of the fish and what they kind of like the biology of a fish and how their fins work and what parts of their body do different things. And it was a really cool science lesson that we used for our science for that week. So this one I haven't really got too much into this box yet. We just opened it the other day, but it also comes with so many cool things in here. Let me try to open it up to show you guys. Okay, got it open without breaking anything. So here's some stuff that came with this box. It talks a lot about just shadows, shapes. This one's talking about what is a silhouette, and then you can just talk about that together. It usually comes with something for like spelling and writing. It's just showing you how to write different letters like animals. I just think it's so cute. She definitely liked doing these things. Usually, I haven't read through this again, like I said, but usually these are a game. Somehow you use these in a game to learn your sight words. And then here, just some more activities. It looks like it's so confusing, but it comes with instructions for each activity in the back, so you don't have to be totally confused. Like right here, it shows you shadow hunt, what to do with the chalkboard. And then see some of the assignments here would be sort the shapes so that you can figure out what each shape is called. Oh, so this is what the letters are for. It's a flashlight hunt. So you play a game. Let's see. Stand the letterboard up against a wall or lay it flat. You can also choose to tape it into a wall. Then turn off all the lights. Ask your child to use the flashlight to find an animal-shaped letter. For example, can you find and light up the letter H? What is the animal that is shaped like an H? that starts with an H sound. Continue asking your child to find the animal-shaped letters until the entire alphabet has been identified. And then optional, use your flashlight to hunt in the dark room for objects that begin with specific letter sounds. Can you find something in the room that begins with the letter M? So how cool is that? This is totally fun for the kids, and usually my older kids would even join in on something like that. And then the box always comes with everything you need. So there's a little flashlight in here for the shapes, and then the elephant is for another activity that I'll have to figure out later. But I just really like these boxes. She always looks forward to it, and then usually it'll come with some kind of little toy. So that's always fun for the kids also. But if you have a younger child, like between preschool and first grade, I definitely recommend these boxes. I can't exactly tell you what the price for the subscription is because, again, we use our charter school funds for this. But if you have the money, or if you do go to a charter school, I would say that this would be so much fun. And you can just use this even for the younger kids and then have this as your curriculum, because this comes, I think it's once a month. So it would be like an activity each day or each week, and then you just add on from there. Like, for example, we could read the book, answer the questions, and then I could have her write like a paragraph on it, and then we could do some research on some of the animals or something like that. So another thing that we like to do is go to the library, like probably once every 2 weeks, and I'll have her just pick a whole bunch of books that she enjoys or on subjects she's interested in, and then we'll read those throughout the week. I don't really give her a set book for first grade like I do my older kids, since she's so young, but she usually picks books like Dr. Seuss or Elephant and Piggy, stuff like that, or Disney books, or gymnastics books. She loves gymnastics, and that's totally fine with me. I did forget to mention that for math, sometimes we supplement with little things that we find from Dollar Tree. Like I have some addition flashcards that we'll do. I have some subtraction flashcards. And then we also have like math games that I've bought that we play, that she can play with her brothers, or I'll write questions on our whiteboard for her to answer. Just try to do things different so it doesn't get too boring. And another thing that I have here for writing is a sentence building kit. So instead of just writing on a paper all the time, pencil and paper, and getting bored of it, she can make sentences using these. It's usually a lot more organized than this, but it helps her with her spelling and her just her building with words. And then there's periods, question marks, so she can add that in to make sure she's understanding the grammar. So it doesn't always have to be the same thing. Like I said, sometimes I'll let them pick that day which one they want to do, or if I could tell that they're totally burnt out on the same stuff, then we'll try to switch it up with something else. So social studies for first grade is very basic. I have this book. I love these books. It's 180 days. There's social studies, there's science, math, writing, spelling. There's like any subject. The only thing is that they can get super dry and boring. So we only use this like for last resort, or if we just haven't done anything on social studies in a while. She does do an ancient history social studies class at her co-op that goes over ancient Egypt and those types of things. So she's covered there. This for first grade is really basic. Like I said, it's just being a good citizen, the difference between like a law and just being good mannered or kindness, needs and wants. And then it goes over some of the inventions, like this one's Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. We haven't done a lot in this book because I usually will do, like I said, other things for social studies, like if she has homework from her co-op class, or I will print things off Teachers Pay Teachers, for example, for like March. It's St. Patrick's Day, so we got some things off there about Ireland and their cultural celebrations and where St. Patrick's Day came from. We did that for Chinese New Year. I printed some things on Chinese New Year and why it's celebrated and some of the traditions that they do in China. So there's just so many things you could do for social studies. It doesn't have to be boring. But if you do want just a book to make sure that you get this down, the 180 days is great for that, because you don't even have to just stick to it. Say we pick something on like climate. So we're talking about climate, or this one's the Pledge of Allegiance. You don't have to just do the worksheet. So we would do the worksheet, and then I would probably find like a YouTube video on who started the Pledge of Allegiance or where it came from. Or when we're at the library, I would pick a book on it, and then we could read more into it instead of just doing the plain worksheet all by itself. And then for extracurricular, we just do so many little projects at home with funds. I buy things like these hand puppets you can make that was beeswax, so we can make lip balm homemade or candles. I bought this sewing kit so she could learn how to sew. We have like scavenger hunts. We have a candle making kit. We're going to try to do that this week and try to make candles. There's latch kits where you could do latch hooking. This one's finger paints. There's just so many options you can get with the funds. And it's so much fun to try out these different art products. So for science, I usually go outside the house for science. We go to museums and SeaWorld and the zoo, the beach, all kinds of places. But I also get these science experiment boxes where we'll do like a YouTube video or there is Generation Genius where they have videos of whatever you want to find. So if you're doing like an experiment on explosions, you can find a video that goes with it. So we'll do different science experiments. We have this atlas crate that we get that just goes over different countries. And then again with more art products that she gets to try out. All my kids get to try these out, like acrylic paints, there's watercolor markers, chalk markers. We even have fabric markers where we designed our own hats and t-shirts. It's just a lot of options. So that's mostly for our extracurricular and art. That's what we like to do. And then, like I said, for science, we mostly take it outside the house on field trips. Like here, we went to the lions, tigers, and bears and learned about these gorgeous animals. They got to try indoor skydiving where we learned a physics lesson. We try to go visit the tide pools anytime there's a king tide where the tide is really low and you can see all the ocean life. We go to zoos and SeaWorld and learn about the animals there. It's so much more fun to do science in person, so we take that opportunity to take it outside the house whenever we can. And then on days when it's raining or we can't go anywhere, we'll do the science experiments and we'll do the crates that we get for geography or whatever we have at home. This one was really cool. We went to like a reptile museum where we got to eco-vivarium where we got to learn about different reptiles and snakes and insects. So those are all super fun for science. Just remember when you're homeschooling, there's so many options out there. You don't have to stick to one thing. You don't have to stick to one curriculum. You guys can take it out of the house and go explore when you feel burnt out or when you have the opportunity, when the weather's beautiful. And just ask your kids, like ask them what are they interested? What is something that they really want to learn about? Sometimes I'm really surprised at what they say and it's really educational and it's so much fun to get to go explore that together and learn together. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful to somebody. And if you guys want to see more content like this or if you have more questions, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'm happy to answer those for you. And again, thank you guys for watching.